The Labour MP Marsha de Cordova is the second Church Estates Commissioner and answers questions about the Church of England in the House of Commons. The following exchanges took place on Thursday 16th of January 2025 and begin with an answer to the same question tabled by three MPs, Chi Warra, Sir Gavin Williamson and Richard Baker. What steps the Church has taken to respond to the recommendation set out in the Makin Review published on 18th of October 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and with your permission, I would like to group questions 2, 7 and 8. Now, the Makin report made clear the devastating abuse suffered by children and young people at the hands of John Smythe. I raised the need for the Makin review to be a defining and watershed moment for the Church in a meeting that I had with representatives from the Archbishop's Council. Now, we know the review made 27 recommendations, some of which have already been implemented, and I'm awaiting a full and thorough update from the Church on the detailed progress that is being made on each of those recommendations. This work is in addition to the ongoing efforts to respond to both the Wilkinson and Alexis J's inquiry into child sexual abuse. Following these reports, the Church began developing potential new safeguarding models, which will be decided at the General Synod in February.
Thank my honourable friend for that response, and I want to pay tribute to my ecclesiastical co-worker, the Right Reverend Helen Ann Hartley, Bishop of Newcastle, for her leadership and courage in championing the voices of victims in the wake of the Makin Review. Newcastle is proud of her.
Absolutely.
Are the Church Commissioners aware of her ongoing concerns about the implementation of the review? And in particular, what can they do to ensure that dioceses have the resources necessary to implement a high standard of safeguarding, and also that the Church is focused on the interests of the victims and the vulnerable rather than the career interests of leading clergy?
Hear, hear.
Thank my honourable friend for her question, and she rightly raises the work that her own bishop has been doing in her constituency on this issue. Apologies, Mr. Speaker, did I do something wrong?
No, it's not you. Somebody came in front of me while I was looking to you.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was me. So look, following the Makin Review, colleagues like my honourable friend and many that are represented here today and from across the House have rightly been raising their concerns about safeguarding in the Church. And this week, I met with representatives from the Archbishop Council, including the Bishop of Stepney, Joanne Grenfell, who is the lead bishop for safeguarding in the Church, to raise my concerns. And you can rest assured that they were made robustly. Now, the Church's National Safeguarding Team is now at stage 3 of its 4-stage process to assess and deal with the risk posed by those criticised in the Makin Review. And again, that is rightly welcome. But additionally, the Church institutions have developed its 2 model proposals on safeguarding that will go to Synod in February. And those models, independent safeguarding models, will look at a scrutiny body as one, and then more of a safeguarding operations independent of the actual Church in itself. So I will be at the Synod in February, and I will be listening to that debate closely. But make no mistake, I've said this, the Church has an enormous amount of work to do to create a culture shift. That is what is required. They need to rebuild trust and they need to rebuild confidence. But also it's very important that everybody here feels as though they also get the opportunity to raise their concerns. So I want to thank my honourable friend and others for ensuring that they've raised this issue here today.
Sir Gavin Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and very much like to pay tribute to the Bishop of Newcastle as well. But what was so tragic is that there were so few senior voices being heard in the Anglican Church. And in the Makin Review, it did name the Bishop of Lincoln, it named the Bishop in charge of the Episcopal Church, and actually so few people have been held to account. So will the Honourable Lady please make sure that more people are properly held to account, and actually some of the people who have been named are cleared out of those top jobs?
The honourable member makes a really critical point on this, and that's why it is so important for the Church to view this moment as the chance to really turn a corner and make this a watershed moment, because we need change, and those responsible must be held to account. I'm very happy to discuss this further with the Honourable Member if it will be of help to him, but he can make no mistake that I strongly believe that it is important that the Church is held to account on that. The lead Bishop, Bishop of Stepney, and also the Director for Safeguarding, both welcomed the Makin Review when it was first published last year, and we have to ensure that those recommendations are implemented.
Richard Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The urgent need for independent scrutiny of the Church's safeguarding procedures was highlighted both by the Makin report and by the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse. Can my honourable friend tell me what the current arrangements are for independent scrutiny of safeguarding following the dismissal of the Church's independent safeguarding board, and what the timetable is for a permanent system for independent scrutiny, and when that will be in place to safeguard against such appalling acts of abuse which was highlighted in both these reports?
Thank you. Independent scrutiny of the Church's safeguarding work is extremely and incredibly important. Now, the Church commissioned a series of audits on dioceses and cathedrals from the independent safeguarding experts, and several have been completed and they have been published. Now, the independently chaired National Safeguarding Panel, which includes victims and survivors among its members, currently scrutinises safeguarding. But as I've already pointed out earlier, proposals to strengthen scrutiny in the Church will be voted on at Synod next month, and the Church will then have to go on and create a plan for implementation from these models once the right model has been approved at General Synod in February.